Hello and welcome to this, the Crypto Club and Digital Asset Weekly Catch-Up on Zoom. It is Sunday the 12th of November 2023, and as is always the case with these sessions, we never know quite what we're going to be talking about. Probably going to involve blockchain, crypto, DeFi, NFTs, ICOs, STOs, TGEs, any other three-letter acronyms really. Sometimes we talk about regulations, CBDCs, the metaverse, other AI connections, whatever really. These sessions are open to everybody to attend, novice and expert alike, and welcome to join us at our next event. There's a link in the comments below. So with that, let's see who's going to come and join us today. Hey, Odysseus.
Hello.
Hey, you connected okay, great. Good of you to join us. Hi then, Asmat as well. Hi, Asmat. Asmat's not saying anything at the moment. That's sometimes the way it goes. Odysseus, hi, what brings you along today? Well, what's your area of interest? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I heard about the 180-second pitch thing that you guys do, and my colleagues weren't able to make it today, so I'm here representing Odysseus.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll wait and we'll see who else shows up initially. We never know quite how many people are going to come along to these sessions. Sometimes it's like a fireside chat of one-to-one. Sometimes we get a dozen or so, but when it feels right, certainly we'll get you to chat more about Odysseus. That's great.
Brilliant, thanks.
Fantastic. Asmat, see you've joined us. Hey there. You're still on mute at the moment. I can see your lips moving, but you're still on mute.
No.
There we go. That's good.
No.
That's such a 2021 thing to be doing these days. So.
Yeah. So I'm not that much used to doing these sort of Zoom meetings and things.
Not a problem. You know, we've got people with all levels of experience of crypto and all levels of experience of Zoom as well. So really isn't a problem at all. And we're being joined by Gabrielle as well. Hey, Gabrielle, hola. Is Gabrielle going to say, oh, she's just connecting on at the moment? Sorry, I'm guessing everyone can hear me okay. I'm having a few problems with my microphone at the moment. Hey, Gabrielle, you said hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
How's sunny Spain?
No, I'm still in Ireland.
You're still in Ireland? Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah. You're down in the south, aren't you? Did you say last time? Oh, no, never mind. Okay, Asmat, I don't think you've joined us before. Do you want to say what your interest in crypto and the session is? Are you looking to get anything in particular out of this meeting?
Just generally, really chat about it. See, just general interest, really, like how the apps work and things like that. And,
okay. What's your kind of knowledge level at the moment around this kind of stuff?
Pretty minimal, really, to be honest.
Okay.
Not a huge amount, except that I check the prices, and it's going up and down, and don't know where it's at. It looks pretty random at the moment.
It's because it is.
Yeah.
I often have this conversation with people. That's why I don't predict prices, because I say you just don't really know what's going on. And sometimes you think you can see a trend or a pattern. That's just the market behaving in a certain way. So we'll see where that goes. Okay. Sorry, so is it actually Kieran then from Odysseus?
Yes.
Right, okay. That makes more sense rather than me calling you Mr. Odysseus or something. Yeah. Well, whereabouts are you based then, Kieran?
I'm in the UK. I'm in Devon at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Torquay.
Okay. Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah. Recovering from, was it storm, whatever it was that hit down that way the other week?
It was Storm Kieran, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah. There's a certain irony there. So, are you and the Odysseus team based there then, or you just?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The founder and co-founder were busy this evening, so I've come to represent Odysseus instead.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, we'll just wait and see if anyone else comes and join us. With these sessions, and this is for everybody, and Gabrielle will know this already, these are totally open to whatever we want to talk about. So if we've got novices who are here to ask beginner questions, that's great. So they're some of the most enjoyable questions to answer, actually, because they really make you think again about some stuff. Or as Kieran's got, he's more experienced working on a project. We do the pitch in 180 seconds session, which is where you get to speak about your project, your topic for 3 minutes with no slides, no PowerPoints, no links or anything, visuals, just talking. And the idea is it's kind of like an extended elevator pitch that gives you a chance to talk about the project, as long as it's not phishing, scamming, or whatever the other terms are. Then always welcome those to come along as well. And so if people have got other things they like to talk about as well, we cover those off, and it really is just open. So it's interesting, as Mark was saying about crypto prices and that. So I sometimes look at some of the crypto market. I know Bitcoin's been hovering around $38,000 the last couple of days. It's been bouncing up and up and up. But I never offer recommendations or financial advice as to where it's going to go next. So I don't know, Asma, do you have any immediate questions that you'd like to ask? Anything that's, as you've been on your journey, you thought, I must find out about such and such?
Not particularly. It's just some interest in what's going on, really.
Okay. Yeah.
To learn more about it. I go on the Google and I try and, sort of follow it and sometimes learn more about it. But it's just the brain just trying to make patterns. But in reality, there is no pattern to it. Sometimes it says, because something's happened in Brazil, the price has gone up, or somebody's tweeted something and the price has gone down. It's trying to make a bit more sense of it, I suppose.
Well, I did an analysis a while ago. I took a look at crypto prices, but specifically around Bitcoin, just to keep it simple. And I tracked it against major news announcements to see if I could find a correlation. And I actually found there was a positive correlation between Premier League football announcements and crypto prices.
Okay.
That sounds totally random, and that's probably because it is. But that was the reality of it. When you actually looked at the prices of Bitcoin going up in certain surges, there was always an announcement the day before about some sort of big Premier League football player change or something, which goes to prove that it's completely uncorrelated to the real world. I always say, when I get on some of the social media groups and they say, what caused this price to do this or whatever, it said a butterfly flapped its wings in the Amazon. And that's what it was, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's quite often the thing. So there's a really good book, I've forgotten the name of the author now, called Fooled by Randomness. And it's the whole thing about how we think we can see patterns that don't actually exist. So I've been joined by Dan as well. Dan, you managed to join us now? Oh, it says Dan's iPhone. Wonder if it really is Dan. He's staying on mute as well. Never mind. Well, tell you what, why don't we'll kick this off. Kieran was saying about talking about Odysseus and that.
Yes.
Are you set for a 3-minute talk on whatever you want to talk about regarding Odysseus?
Sure. I mean, it's actually quite a good place to take off, really, because you're talking about the randomness of the markets, and that's kind of our thing.
Fantastic. Okay, in that case, I will set my alarm clock for 3 minutes, and then what we'll do, we'll listen uninterrupted to your presentation, and then we can open it up if anyone's got any questions. I'm sure I'll have some questions as well. With that, Kieran, Odysseus, your 3 minutes starts now.
Yeah, brilliant. Hey guys, I'm representing Odysseus today. We're a cryptocurrency on the Binance Smart Chain. We're built around a live utility, which is an automated trading system. A completely automated system trades futures on Bybit and rewards holders with a share of our profits. Our goal was to make everything as simple as possible, so even people with no background in crypto can easily become a part of our ecosystem. All you have to do is you simply buy our token. You hold it in your wallet, whether it's your MetaMask or your Trust wallet, whichever wallet you prefer. You're then automatically added into our dividend tracker, and you'll be rewarded weekly with USDT straight into your wallet. your share of the rewards is based on your holding of the total supply of the tokens. And when you buy and sell, taxes are taken from every transaction, and that's used to build our communal trading pool, which we then use to trade automatically with our completely automated trading system on Bybit. We're currently averaging about return on investment of about 10 to 15% per month. And this has been quite consistent now, proving that, it's not a completely random market and that there is patterns to things. And, we've been proving this. We're looking to launch what we are calling our private option next weekend. This is a more personalized experience of our trading system. So instead of having to buy tokens and, these buy and sell taxes feeding a communal trading pool, all you have to do is you simply place USDT on a centralized exchange of your choice, are the ones that we are currently using, and you connect to our API. This will connect your account to our software, and you can follow our trades to the dot. So when we make a trade, you make the same trade. We only take a fee from profits. So if you don't make any money, we don't. For our whitelisted users, we take 7.5% of each profitable trade. And for non-whitelisted users, that will be 15%. And currently, this kind of marketing with like online marketing has been quite sparse for us because we prefer to do face-to-face stuff. So our most recent event was the CogX Business Festival in London, which is where we met quite a lot of investors, but also connections like contacts and partnerships and things like this. That's why I think we find it a lot more useful to do this kind of marketing. Not just that, but it also shows that we're not like these other cryptocurrencies where we are kind of like the man behind the screen who's anonymous. We're all KYC'd, we're all doxed, we're there in person meeting with investors and stuff. Our next one is going to be the BTB Growth Expo in Birmingham on November the 20th. So if anyone wants to come and meet us in person, we'll be there. I can send links to where you get tickets and things like that. But that's a brief rundown of what we do, which is a completely automated trading system that rewards its holders with our profits.
Excellent. And you'll see, or you won't be able to see on the screen because it always hides it. That was 3 minutes.
Well, perfect.
very, very, very nice indeed. Thanks very much for that, Kieran, but really interesting. So if I kind of summarize it as kind of what I heard was it's acting as a kind of like a recommendation engine for crypto where you take a commission, but you're allowed to do things like follow trading, like how you can with eToro and that kind of thing. Is that right?
Kind of like copy trading, yeah. You can think of us more like a tech company on that side. When you're talking about the private option, of course, not the actual token itself. That whole system's completely different. But the private option, which we aim to launch next weekend, you can think of it like we're basically just a software company, and we're essentially renting you the software that we're using to trade with our community trading funds.
Yes. So were you saying that there was some element of it where you actually sell your customer a token in effect?
Yeah, so that's the system we're currently running. So we have our own token on the Binance Smart Chain, and what you do is you just buy our token, you hold it in your wallet, and we have a communal trading fund. So what happens is when tokens are bought or sold, we take a small tax from either buy or sell, and this goes into building our communal trading fund, which we use to trade. The profits from that is then redistributed as rewards to our holders every week, depending on how much profit we make, of course.
Okay. So are you regulated in any way on that?
Obviously, at the moment, we're just a token, so there's no call for any regulation. But when we are, of course, audited, KYC'd, and doxed. But when we release the private option, then it will be more of a company, and we'll be registering in Gibraltar as a company because our CEO is actually from Spain. Then obviously things will take a different direction, but the legal side is something that's a little bit over my head. I'm just here to represent the CEO. I'm not the CEO myself.
Okay. I ask, and this is always the difficult thing, because I'm not offering or whatever financial, legal, or taxation advice is my normal phrase. But from what you're describing, I'm curious if people are putting it into a pool initially. That sounds like a collective investment scheme, which is regulated, even if it's crypto, I believe.
Right. Well, again, this is something I'm sure my CEO could answer better than myself.
Sure.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
like I said, we've been completely audited and all of this, and we've not run into any issues so far. So,
Okay. Yeah. It's fascinating because I work with a number of startups and that, and as soon as you start saying, so the very fact that you're dealing in crypto in some way means that you may have to go onto the UK FCA crypto asset register.
right.
And again, when you say that to people, they go, "Oh no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to worry." Because
Well, the thing is, the company's not. Like the CEO isn't actually in the UK. He's in Spain, and everything.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh, right. Again, it's beyond my knowledge.
Sure. Yeah. No, it sounds interesting. It's one of those things that people quite often come up against because financial regulations apply to the country in which the investor is based, not necessarily the country in which you're operating from.
Right.
So I know people who operate from like Panama, Gibraltar, Malta, all this kind of stuff. And if you are selling a crypto product to a UK customer, then there may be a liability to be a registered and regulated. Well, yeah, actually in the UK you can't be regulated, but you can be registered.
Yeah, well, like I say, when we launch the private option, which will be this weekend, we will be registered.
Okay, yeah. But only as a company, not as a crypto asset holder.
Again, that's something you would have to ask our CEO, but I'm sure he will cover all bases on that.
Cool. Yeah. Well, certainly be interested in learning more if he can join another week, because it's always a fascinating area. And as you say, if you've got the ability to actively track and trade crypto asset performance, and you can manage to do it reasonably successfully, which is where my point about crypto prices is that they're dictated purely by the market. Which is interesting. That's different to stock markets, which are kind of influenced by real world behavior, whereas crypto is purely you're predicting the future behavior of the market, not the future behavior of the product. Because quite often there isn't a product. So, okay, how long have you guys been working on this then?
I believe the tech team was working on this for about a year before launch. We launched in May this year.
Okay, yeah. And I'm guessing you've got a website that you can direct people to about this?
Yeah, it'll be odysseus.co.
Okay, which is the one thing you didn't mention in your 3 minutes.
Yeah, I figured there'd be somewhere I could send some links or stuff at the end.
Sure thing. Well, feel free to drop a link in the chat here, and I can add it into the YouTube thing afterwards as well.
Brilliant, thank you.
That's not a problem. So I don't know anyone. Dan, you joined us, but I haven't had a chance to say hello yet. Dan.
Hi, Gary. Can you hear me?
I can indeed. Yes.
I thought I'd jump on. I am driving, so I'm not being rude with my camera off. But,
sorry, I think what you mean is you're a passenger in a car at the moment. I don't think you said you're driving.
I'm a passenger in a car for anyone who's listening.
Excellent. How's it going then, Dan? Were you listening to Kieran just then talking about Odysseus?
I was, yes. I grabbed the last couple of minutes of his full 3 minute talk. I didn't grab the first minute. But it sounds really, really interesting. I'm just really, really grateful to be in the knowledge of people who are creating cryptocurrencies, and it's just extremely helpful.
It is still a fascinating space that I've been in this area since about 2014, 2015. So it's like 9 years, and I still consider myself a novice. But it's great to hear like new ideas coming through and new projects there, and it's great to listen to them here. I don't know if anyone's got any questions for Kieran while he's online. Everyone's just blown away, Kieran. It can quite often be a good sign when no one has any questions, because it means they've digested it totally.
I hope so, yeah.
Or it's that it's outside their domain and they don't really know. I don't know. Any questions from anyone? Asma, Gabrielle?
No.
No. That's good. So what brought you into this project originally then, Kieran?
I had known the CEO through a different project before, but it was actually an idea of mine that I'd had, and he was going to help me build. And I kind of spoke to him for a while, and he ended up saying, "Oh, I'm a bit busy with this other project. Would you like to come on board and help me instead with this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So yeah, I've been here since launch, and it's just kind of it's blown me away, to be honest, so how great the technology is and the idea behind everything. And yeah, I've just been here ever since.
So is the whole team kind of like Torbay based or something then?
No, we're actually quite spread around. We have our core team are from as much as Spain, Croatia, Philippines, Ukraine. So the tech team, I believe, are based in Ukraine, most of them. And then the core team is Philippines, Croatia, 2 of us in the UK, and the CEO in Spain.
Okay. That's a true multinational team then.
Yeah.
Which is also quite often the norm these days as well. That's the thing. It's fascinating to compare how companies are now compared to 10 or 15 years ago when you all sat in a physical office in the one location, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because of the internet, of course.
Yeah. Shows it's made a real difference. Yeah. Excellent.
Gary, I have a question.
Go for it, Dan.
And that's it's for yourself, but on Odysseus. Have I said that right? I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to enhance my knowledge, what risks would be insurable for Odysseus as they become a new cryptocurrency?
So I'm not sure if I understand your question. So the risk is in like risk of losing assets when investing. Do you mean
it was more for Gary, because
right.
I know he is more of like he crosses over with the insurance market and the cryptocurrency market. And what potential risks would be insurable for a new cryptocurrency coming out into the world?
So I guess answering on Kieran's behalf, in a way, on some of this, it does just happen, Kieran. Don't worry. There is an overlap between. I always say if you draw a circle with crypto and a circle with insurance, where they overlap, it says Gary Nuttall. So
brilliant.
I know a bit about this. So Dan, the obvious one would be theft. It is the starting point. Kieran didn't go into the details of where the crypto is physically held, as to whether it's self-custody or centralized custody or what, but that would certainly be one insurable opportunity. Another would be the traditional directors and officers liability, professional indemnity, all those kind of things, because ultimately, Kieran clearly working for a team of really lovely, nice people. However, one of them might suddenly run away to Barbados or something. So you've certainly got the internal risk around that. Then you got things like, because they've actually created a token on the Binance blockchain, so I'm presuming that's like some form of smart contract managed token, then there is the risk that there could be a bug in that token. And so you could potentially insure the smart contract that's linked with it. So that's an area that Nexus Mutual have gone into. So for those who don't know Nexus Mutual, they don't call it insurance now, but it's a mutualization of risk of a smart contract failing, because that's quite a niche area. So what they do is they have a pool of people who put in place funding that if a smart contract has a bug and it fails and there's money stolen, lost or whatever, then they, as a community, then vote on whether to pay out on it or not. And it's the very fact that they vote on a payout, which means it can't be counted as insurance, because insurance, you either pay out or you don't. It's not, we'll have a vote to see if we're going to pay it or not. So it's a little bit different. So certainly there's a thing about a smart contract bug is definitely one of them. Then you've got the non-insurable risks. So things like price volatility, because as Dan's probably aware, you can't take out an insurance policy on the price of a product changing, because that's a financial risk. That's not an insurable risk as such. Typically, if people want to insure, in inverted commas, around price fluctuations, they do that through what's known as a hedging strategy. So that will be where they purchase some other crypto or something to offset it, or they take out a short position or a long position. But that's using financial instruments, not insurance instruments. So I think that's probably the main ones. And then the other one as well, obviously, with running on the Binance blockchain, there is always the risk, albeit very small, that there could be problems with Binance blockchain. And so you've got a third-party risk, which you can insure against, I'm sure, of what would happen if the Binance blockchain stopped working. That stopped people from trading, buying, selling, or liquidating their assets. So Dan, I think that's a reasonable roundup of all of the obvious insurable opportunities I can think of offhand.
That's really helpful.
To emphasize on the security thing that you brought up in the first place about someone running off to Barbados. So our liquidity is locked, and the community assets are in a centralized exchange, obviously, because that's where they'd have to be for us to be able to trade with them. But this account is essentially, from what I understand, works like a multi-sig wallet, where one person has access to it. It needs multiple things, which would be multiple team members of ours. But on top of that, we're planning to introduce a law firm, a real life law firm, to that multi-sig. So if somebody, say the CEO or CMO or someone else, wanted to have access to these funds, they would have to go through the law firm. They would have to go through other team members just to be able to access these funds.
Okay. So that's a really useful one to add. So Dan, Kieran mentioned another risk there that could be insured, because he said that they're using a centralized exchange. I don't know, but by centralized exchange, Kieran, is that Binance?
Bybit. I did say in the 3 minute. Yeah,
so
that's what we're trading on currently.
Yeah. So again, there's an insurable risk around Bybit having problems, and there's an insurable risk around the Binance blockchain having problems. So there's a couple of threat vectors there that you could consider around the risk. The multi-sig, it's good practice, depending upon how the multi-sig is constructed. But that reduces the risk of insider threats. So I was doing some stuff with a crypto custodial capability, and we were developing like multi-sig, multi-party computation, and a few other things to absolutely remove the risk of insider attacks. Because it's funny, if you take a look at some of the certainly the crypto exchanges that have failed, sometimes it's not a technical failure, it's that someone's run off with the keys, which was quite literally the case with the Canadian firm, and there was Mt. Gox problems there. So again, potential insurable risks. And as Kieran says, that the fact that they're going to engage with a law firm to act as one of the parties in a multi-sig address gives comfort whilst introducing another threat vector.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's no free lunch in crypto. But again, it would depend upon the nature of that company, where they're based, where they're registered. Because if they're in a certain jurisdiction, for example, if they were US incorporated, that would immediately put everything that Odysseus is doing within the scrutiny of any number of US regulators.
Right.
Just like the way that any company that trades in US dollars, whether it realizes it or not, is subject to US law. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it being US based though, as none of us are US based.
Mm-hmm. But you're using Binance.
Bybit.
Yeah. But
you mean the Binance Smart Chain? Yeah.
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 And do you know where that's based?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah. So this is always a fascinating thing, that there are these risks and everything. And it's not until you kind of go down the custody chain and everything that you suddenly realize what else is involved. So Dan, yeah, there's a few areas of interest, definitely. Because the one about depending upon the jurisdiction of where the law firm is, because they could, if you're just using a multi-sig address, which means they actually hold part of the key in a sharded format, that means that they are designated as a custodian.
Right.
And that exposes them to, I mean, you might be aware in the UK, there's new law that's just been passed, just the Economic Crime and Transparency Act, I think it's called.
Right.
And that includes the right of law enforcement agencies to seize crypto assets. And,
wow, really?
and the really crazy thing is that they can seize the crypto assets on suspicion of them being involved in criminal activity. They don't even need to. They don't even need to arrest you. They can just say, "We suspect that this is as a result of criminal activity, or it's involved in criminal activity." They can seize the assets, and the policy at the moment, and I suspect this may well change, is that they can then liquidate the assets.
Wow, so that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, so and it's a fascinating thing. It goes way beyond what your project's doing, but as a general principle, it could mean that a police officer could come along and say, "We suspect that you've been using this crypto, or you've obtained this crypto through fraudulent means, criminal means."
Yeah,
they could then sequestrate the assets. They can seize it. How on earth are they going to seize it if you won't give away your private key? I'm not so sure.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. But the great thing about law is the law doesn't worry about the real world. It worries about applying law.
Yeah.
And so they can technically seize it and then dispose of it into fiat. And then at a future point, they can turn around and say, "Actually, there's nothing further to investigate. You can have your money back." And they will give you the money that they liquidated at the value at which they liquidated it at.
Wow.
Which is fascinating, because if you bought, say, Bitcoin at $18,000 and they seized it and then it went up to $36,000, they'd only give you the $18,000 value back.
That's crazy.
It certainly is. But the funny thing is, it could mean that they could seize your assets at $18,000, and if the market shrinks, they still have to pay you $18,000.
Yeah.
So it's almost like using law enforcement as a hedging service.
Yeah.
It's something that I just think that they've possibly not quite thought that through, and I suspect that will change. So, so coming back to your point in terms of the law firm, what it could potentially mean is that if the law firm was suddenly discovered to be part of a major international ring of whatever's type thing, then you could inadvertently have your crypto assets seized as part of their assets, even though they're only acting as custodian. So again, going back to Dan's point, that technically is another insurable opportunity.
Oh, well, that's good news. At least it's insurable.
but that would be subject to finding a broker who understands that, and good enough there are a few of them now, but an underwriter being prepared to place the risk, and being prepared to place the risk at a price you'd be willing to pay, and that's where the big gap is right now, that a lot of the insurance market doesn't understand the risk sufficiently, and so they just price it as an unknown risk, which means they make it very expensive.
Yeah, of course.
But it's a fascinating thing. Having been involved in a company, we used to insure things like space satellite launches, where you think, well, what's the risk of a space satellite launch? There didn't used to be any history in that. Didn't stop them insuring it. They just charged a big premium. So,
yeah.
It's all part of the fun. But Kieran, these are all fascinating things that a few of us who've looked at these areas look at things a little bit left field, And it's when you start looking at regulation, legislation, insurance rules, and all this kind of thing, it can become quite restrictive in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, this is all very interesting. It's a little bit above my understanding, as I've mentioned a couple of times, but yeah, it's very interesting to hear.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing on that, of course, is that not being aware of the law does not make you above it.
Yeah,
Of course. Which is the worrying thing. It fascinates me that the number of people I've spoken to in other calls where they just haven't realised what they were letting themselves in for, which is not the case with the stuff you're talking about.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah. It's just we'll have to get our CEO in here at some point to speak with you about that side of things.
Yeah,
he'll have a better understanding than me.
Be really good, particularly with looking at it from the Gibraltar perspective, because that then puts it within the remit of the EU MiCA regulations as well, which is the markets in crypto assets. So you've got all the KYC, AML, all sorts of three-letter acronyms around the regulation and that, which is why in the UK, the FCA, who, for those who don't know, Financial Conduct Authority, is the UK regulator of regulated assets in the UK. Financial assets in the UK. Crypto is not a regulated financial instrument. However, the FCA is responsible for the anti-money laundering aspects of crypto. So even though crypto itself isn't regulated, kind of trading in it sort of is, which is why I always ask people if they're on the asset register, because it's not an easy register to get onto. Right. And a number of companies have tried, and I think about 60 of them applied and gave up and moved to Singapore or something. So Gibraltar might not be a bad idea anyway. So, that's good. Okay, anyone got any general questions on that, or any other questions of a wider topic? Silence seems good. Kieran, thank you. Go for it.
So what did you say the percentage of profit you were likely to generate? Was it on a daily or weekly basis? I think you covered.
Monthly ROI is around 10 to 15% currently, and that's
good.
Since May when we launched.
Right, that's pretty good. Did you say you were using Bybit?
Bybit, correct, yes.
Is Bybit not accessible in the UK? I might be wrong.
Bybit is not accessible in the UK.
Do we know when it will be?
No idea. No.
I really enjoyed using Bybit until it obviously isn't accessible anymore. I thought it was a really good platform.
Yeah. It's like I said, our CEO and the whose account it is isn't actually in the UK. So obviously, and we're obviously not trading on other people's behalf. We're essentially, as I said before, a technology company that's allowing some people to use our software. So yeah, if when we do launch the private option, it will be on a range of exchanges. And I guess another thing I was going to say actually about the holding of assets as well is with the private option, we don't actually hold anyone's assets. Your assets are in your own account. You simply rent the software off of us to make the trades.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so right now, obviously, people in the UK and Ireland can't use Bybit. No.
Yeah, I think it makes sense labeling yourselves as a technology company as opposed to a holder of crypto assets in any way. Definitely.
Yeah, we don't hold the assets.
Yeah. And there was something else I was going to ask around that. You mentioned something. It's gone away. Yeah. Dan, were you an avid user of Bybit in the past then?
Yeah. Over the summer until I want to say it was early October, where I got an email saying that it wasn't accessible anymore from the 8th or something. And I did enjoy the platform, and I was getting quite used to it. Leveraging trades.
Mm-hmm.
I got really comfortable with the platform and was gutted. I've tried GMX, just something I can't really work out as quickly as Bybit. Probably should persevere.
I remember what I was going to say now. It was just where Kieran was sharing the details of the performance of the platform up till now. that we really should have that little trailer at the bottom of the screen that says past performance should not be used as a guaranteed indication of future performance.
Always.
Absolutely.
We could do better.
Well, yeah, that's very, very true. It's one of those things that I always use as a red flag. That you didn't say it or do it, but sometimes people do come on and they go, oh yeah, we guarantee it'll be at least 5% a month or whatever. It's like, no, we're gonna have to cut you off here.
Yeah, no one can guarantee anything.
Exactly right. It does sound a consistently good performance compared to some of the other, like the trading bots and opportunities now. So yeah, sounds interesting. Yeah, folks, we've only got 20 minutes left. We've been flying through chatting about this stuff. Has anyone got any further questions for Kieran or any other questions in general? See, Gabrielle always just stays quiet and she stays on mute. And Asmat's probably thinking, what on earth are they talking about? This is far too complicated.
Well, what I'll do, like I said, I'll drop you some links of our website, our Telegram, and things like that. And also, if anyone wants to come and meet us in person, as I said, we'll be at the BTB Growth Expo in Birmingham on November the 20th. And our whole team will be there, as far as I am aware, as long as there's no complications. So our CEO, our CMO, myself, and Brian, who is one of our marketing guys, we'll all be there in person. You can come meet us and talk to us. I'll leave a link for that as well if you like. So if people want to get tickets, they can do that.
Yeah, drop it into the chat, definitely, and I can include that afterwards. That's always useful. It is something that you're right, that being able to meet people in person kind of can give you a bit more confidence.
Right, yeah.
Definitely that. You know it's a real person as opposed to a bot on the other side of the world in some way.
Yeah, especially in crypto.
Yeah, that's good. So how come you were at CogX then? Because that's an AI conference, isn't it?
It was AI. It wasn't just AI. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like AI and technology thing. We had a booth there, and people could just come up and chat to us. And yeah, it was quite good. We met a lot of good connections there, and it was actually like a really big moment of growth for our project. I think on the first day we hit an all-time high actually on our chart.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. It was just a big event that again, good for us to show our faces and show that we're serious about this whole business, and we're not just the man behind the screen, like you say, Mr. Anonymous. We're all KYC'd, we're all doxed, and we're happy to put our faces to the brand.
And what was the venue this year for CogX?
I think the main what are they called? Like presentation speeches by the quite famous people that were there, like the Dragon. I can't remember his name now, from Dragon's Den stuff. They were at the O2,
okay.
And the actual festival itself was just around the corner from the O2 in another building.
So it's just that I know it got good feedback this time compared to, I was at CogX when it was held at King's Cross previously, and it's just a massive sprawling all over the place. They literally had buses laid on to take it between the various places.
Oh, wow.
It was an incredible thing, but just not, I would argue, a good place for it. So it's good. But again, AI and blockchain, that there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
In this kind of stuff, particularly around machine learning and predictive analytics and that kind of thing. So that's good. Cool. Excellent. Okay. If no one's got any other questions, then, or anything
Gary,
else,
I've got a question.
I'll go for it, Dan.
I've got a question. I didn't want to keep asking questions in case someone else had one.
Do I come off at junction 15 on the M6?
He's a passenger.
I'd like to ask you both. I told you, Gary, last time I was on, but I'll tell you, Kieran, as well, just for a bit of context. So for my own learning, I'm doing like a cryptocurrency fact file on all the top coins. And I'm onto Solana and proof of history. And I'd just like a decent summary so I can get my head around it, because I'm struggling with it slightly.
So what you want the history of where Solana's come from and what it's doing?
No, like the blockchain type of proof of history in terms of Do you know what I mean?
Instead of
Just-
like proof of stake or proof of, I can't remember what the other one is now.
Well, there's about 7 different proof ofs. There's proof of work, proof of stake.
That's proof of work. That's what I was thinking.
There's proof of elapsed time. There's proof. Dan, do you mean more simply the way that the records on the blockchain are written, so that you've got like an immutable history of all the transactions?
Yeah. So, I mean, from my own research, and I probably have got it horribly wrong, but I thought Solana was using a type of proof of stake labeled as proof of history as their blockchain consensus mechanism. Is that what it's called?
Okay, consensus. Yeah. Okay, you may well be right. I don't actually know Solana in terms of how it works. I don't know, Kieran. How technical are you? Do you know anything about Solana?
No, I didn't actually know this. I've just Googled it myself. He is right. They do use proof of history. It's supposed to be a more eco-friendly and gives a higher transaction throughputs. But no, I didn't know this myself. So sorry I couldn't help you out there more, Dan. But you've actually just taught me something, so I didn't know that at all.
It's all right. It means the research is going all right then, doesn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I don't even know who you direct that to, because there are so many different blockchains these days. It's difficult at times to keep track as to what the consensus mechanism is. So the consensus mechanism, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what consensus is, it's simply the way that the network of the participants on a blockchain sufficiently agree that the record is correct to be written to the ledger or the database. And different blockchains have got different protocols. So one of them, which is what Bitcoin uses, is called proof of work. And this is where all of the miners effectively compete every 10 minutes to solve a complex puzzle. And when more than 51% of them agree on the answer, then whoever came up with that answer first wins the Bitcoin for that block type thing. So that's what's known as proof of work. And it's all about that. It's a way of cryptographically proving that enough network nodes, so computers, whatever, have actually validated that the data is consistent. You'll notice I didn't say that the data is correct. So this is where I sometimes hear it when consultants say, oh yeah, because of proof of work, it means that the data's right. So it solves all your data quality problems. It doesn't at all. It just means that enough people have agreed on the answer. But there are different things as well. There's things like proof of stake, which is where the kind of like the weighting of the network participant depends upon how much crypto they're holding to one side. And in fact, proof of history is one I didn't even know about. So I'm going to have to go away and find out about that now, Dan. Thank you for that.
Ditto.
No problem.
So certainly there's these obscure ones. So, oh well, some homework for me as well. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, every day is a school day.
Exactly, and that's the thing I love about this space as well. That I'm constantly learning. There's always more to know, and at the point at which you think you know everything, you just realise you're at the beginning.
Yeah,
and you hardly know anything. So there's so much. So, okay. Well, look, folks, if there's nothing else, unless Dan's got any more questions.
Oh, I could be here all day, Gary.
well, what was going to suggest, because we're about done for the evening, there's nothing else to really add. We'll wrap this call up for the day. We'll finish a few minutes early, and I will get this produced and put onto YouTube later on. If Kieran gives me any of the links, we can add those in as well, and we'll finish off from there. So there you go. Kieran's put his website and some of the charts they've got as well, which is great. So
I'll also link the expo if anyone wants to join us there and meet us in person. Then we'll be there on the 20th again. Always happy to meet people in person and have a chat about our project.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Kieran, thanks for joining us. Asma, I'm guessing you've got no questions at this stage. You're just listening in, trying to pick up the bits and pieces and try and understand some of these things. It's entirely normal for these sessions. I know Gabrielle just tends to listen in the background. It's very quiet. And Dan, I think you're about done for now.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Kieran if he has LinkedIn, if he could drop it in, or any more links to Odysseus.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll have a look now and drop that for you. I just got to find the link real quick.
All right, amazing.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, pleasure. Well, get your CEO to come along next time. We'll ask him the really difficult questions next time.
Yeah, you can really grill him. I'll message him tonight.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't go on that crypto thing.
No, that's good. I'd like to
I-
see how he answers the questions, you know.
Yeah. But it is one of those things. It's simply because I've been involved in so many projects over the years. I know certain things that may not have been considered.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting. And it's fantastic when someone says, "Yep, we thought about that, and what we're doing is blah blah blah." That's really good on that.
Yeah, I will say in the past he's had an answer for most things. So he probably has considered these things, but again, just above my head.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's never fair when you're just dropped into it, is it? Of like, here you go, you can just pop onto this, do a 3-minute pitch, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Oh no, it's okay, you know, and it's good to be asked these questions because then I know what to ask the team and how to be prepared in future.
Yep, good call, definitely. Okay, so Kieran shared the websites, the chart, and a Telegram group, and also the link to the Birmingham Expo, which is great. Was there anything else you wanted to share on that, Kieran?
Yeah, I was getting the link to our LinkedIn, but
I'm guessing, is it going to be on the website?
Yeah, it may be. If not, you can always come into our Telegram and ask us any questions in there. We have mods that are on pretty much 24/7. So anyone who wants to come and join us there, that's just I dropped the link for that too. And yeah, I myself am called Kieran in there too, so you'll be able to find me quite easily.
Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing. So there you go, Dan. That's a way of stalking them anyway. Great, folks. In that case, let's call it day. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along today. Kieran, thank you for being willing to be grilled.
Anytime.
And something that went from 3 minutes to, I think it turns about 30 minutes. Asmat, thanks for joining us. And Dan, thanks for coming along. And Gabrielle, thanks as always. Adios, amiga.
Adios, amigos.
And have a great day, everybody. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.